what I've gathered from reading online, hanging out on Discord, doing basically all the unemployed activities that you would expect a Deadlock player to do. And I am basically just saying, yo, this is what people are thinking. I am in no way saying this and that from my own experience, because like I said, I am
Alright, gamers and gamerettes, we're back with another YouTube video. Today we will be talking about, is Deadlock worth playing in 2026? I have been playing this game like crazy. I'm addicted. Disclaimer, I am not good. Anyway, I am as bad as you can be at Deadlock. What I'm here to do is to tell you whether or not the game is fun and whether or not you should play it, regardless of, you know. I'm not here to tell you should rant the game. I'm just here to tell you, yeah, I think it's a fun game and you would probably enjoy it. Especially if you've played hero shooters and MOBAs before. This combines the two together into what is called Deadlock. So I am not here to tell you to complain about a game or say how it should be improved or whatnot, because I don't know enough. But I know enough to talk about when it comes to whether or not you should play it. And if you don't want to watch the whole video, I'll say right now, yeah, it's a very good game and I think most people would enjoy it. So here you go, that's it. If you don't want to watch the rest of the video, goodbye, just go download the game. It's a fun game. Anyway, with that said, let's get into a game and let's talk about a game. Alright guys, so we are loading up into a game. I actually set the Venator as high priority, but I got Victor. I'm not complaining. Victor is nice and easy, especially when you're trying to talk while you're playing. So we're just gonna be running around in circles, pressing F or 3, and hopefully we'll get some nice kills. Alright guys, so let's talk about things in order of importance. And I think the most important part of a video game is for it to feel like a video game and for it to be fun. If you have seen Deadlock when it was first released, I think it was late 2024, early 2025, I don't remember, I'll be honest. It didn't look very good. It didn't look like a good game. The map didn't look good, the textures look very plain and very boring, I guess you can say. It felt like when you look at videos of old Deadlock when it first came out, it looked like it was literally a prototype. That's how it felt. It didn't feel like a complete game. But things have changed since then. First of all, there are no longer 4 lanes, there are now 3 lanes, so you are guaranteed to play 2v2. That's how the game is split automatically. When you log into the game and you queue up, you will be split into a pair. You are allowed at the start of the game to swap your lanes. If you don't like your enemy, if you don't like your matchup, you can very easily swap your lanes if you don't like it very nicely. Unfortunately, the way you swap characters is swap lanes is at the start of the game. You have a button that you can press and your ally needs to respond, and in order to do that you are allowed to pause. Each team has 3 pauses if I'm not mistaken, and it's very common for at the start of the game for the game to be paused so that people can swap the lanes. That's very common. That's a very common thing to do. Like I said earlier, the game feels way more polished. It feels like you're playing an actual game. I genuinely believe there is a company out there, I don't want to name names, EA, who, if they had Deadlock and they had it in the state that it is right now, they would 100% release it as a full game. I genuinely believe they would, because the game is in a pretty good state gameplay wise, in my opinion. There are only 2 game modes, but the main game mode does have a rank system. There is no way to play the 6v6 game mode without ranked, unfortunately, which kind of sucks, because if you want to learn new characters, you basically have to play what I'm playing right now, Street Brawl, and you can never say, yo, I want to relax and play a game of Deadlock with no stakes and play a 6v6, because any 6v6 will affect your rank, unfortunately. The only non-ranked game mode is the one I'm playing right now. So, the game feels pretty good. It feels pretty polished compared to where it was when it was first released. It feels like a game you can play. It doesn't feel like a prototype anymore. And it's pretty fun. Now, when it comes to the content, I already mentioned there are only 2 game modes. But
Valve being Valve, they do give you a lot of freedom in they give you a lot of freedom when it comes to learning and practicing. You have two main maps where you can practice on, the main 6v6 map and the Street Brawl map, and then you have a custom sandbox map which is like a mini map where you can go in, walk around, you can shoot, you can farm, you can spawn enemies, you can do a bunch of things. But if you want to practice on the main map, you're free to do so. Valve, as Counter-Strike and Dota, they give you freedom for commands. You are in complete control when it comes to practicing. You can turn off ability cooldowns, it has everything you would expect from a practice mode to have in a MOBA. Now when it comes to the characters, there are 42 characters if I'm not mistaken, and there are 42 characters, and they are, I think, there probably are plans of releasing new characters, and that comes with a problem. If you play any other MOBA, you will know that when a new character is released, a lot of times they may be broken. They're either too strong or just very bad. Most 99% of the time they're very strong. From what I understand, when Silver was released, she was so broken, people hated her, and if you've played any MOBA, that's understandable. That's something that every MOBA goes through. But where Valve shines, in my opinion, is the player feedback response and the transparency that they have in with the community. They are very vocal about the changes they are making. They are very active on Discord and Reddit. There's a guy called Yoshi. He's like the main guy that people talk to when they have issues about a game, and they listen to everything you say. Yes, of course, they have that slip through the cracks. There are things that they don't hear, but realistically, they hear 99% of the things they say, and anybody who says otherwise, you need to keep in mind that they probably hear every complaint, but they don't act on every complaint, just because you can't keep everybody happy. Some complaints are more important, some are valid, some complaints are just people being salty that they don't like a certain character. So while they respond to players very actively, you will still read comments on Reddit, on Discord, people talking how they don't listen to the complaints. They only listen if you complain on their official forums. They only this, only that, blah 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 blah. Like, okay, sure, but I think that's just people being negative. They are doing a pretty good job being transparent and listening to people. Even when you open the game, there is a little questionnaire on the bottom right of the screen where you have 3 questions. Is this character 3 questions of the type of: is this character broken? Is this character fun? Is this item fun? Is this item broken? How good is this character CC? How good is this character? How fun is this character to play against? How fun is this character to play as? They are very proactive, and that's the main reason I love Valve, and playing this game has made me like Valve even more. I've played a bit of Counter-Strike, I've played a bit of Dota, but this game, seeing how they respond to everything, how they listen to everyone, it made me realize that Valve is a really solid company. Yeah, they had the little hiccup with, massive hiccup with the Steam machine, but that's not really their fault, unfortunately. So, by the way guys, I should mention, none of these things that I'm saying here, they are not ways that I think the game should be improved. What I'm saying is what I've gathered from reading online, hanging out on Discord, doing basically all the unemployed activities that you would expect a Deadlock player to do. And I am basically just saying, yo, this is what people are thinking. I am in no way saying this and that from my own experience, because like I said, I am not a high-elo. I am scrub. I am low-elo scrub. So most of the things that I say are from what I've observed from other people. Yes, some opinions are mine. For example, I genuinely think Victor was extremely broken. And I think he was broken because, in my opinion, I play Victor, and he was when I started playing in May, at the start of May, and when I started playing him, I was immediately getting kills. Like with the first couple games, I And I picked Victor not because he was broken, I picked him because I genuinely think he's the coolest character in the game. Him and Venuta are the two coolest characters in the game. And I was already getting kills as soon as I started playing the game. Just the way the character is designed, I feel like he's very strong. Oh no, I'm playing Venuta! Anyway, alright, so I do think he was pretty broken, Victor, and they've nerfed him. This brings me on to the next point, which kind of ties in with the feedback that I was talking about, and that is they are very proactive with the updates. They update the game very frequently. I started the game at the start of May, and there has been about 9 patches since then, so it's been 2 months. So I started the game in May, and there have been about 9 patches, if I counted correctly, and that's more than most games, definitely more than Dota, I think. Oh, am I wrong? I don't know. I don't want to talk about Dota. I don't know enough, but it's a good amount of welcome dog. As you can see, guys, I am bad. Anyway, so yeah, they update the game very quickly, and they are not afraid to make changes. When I started the game, so right now there are 3 objectives, but when I started the game there were only 2 main objectives. The urn and mid-boss. Mid-boss is a big monster that you kill, and then you become immortal for 1 death. You die once and then you revive. The second most problematic objective was the urn. So the way urn worked when I started the game is you picked it up, you walk to a location, you dropped it, and you get souls. Beautiful, bing bam bong. People, they didn't like that, so they changed it. They changed it to an urn where you pick up, you drop at a location, and then you have to basically fight over it. And when you fight over it, as you fight over the urn, the team that hits the urn starts a timer on their team, and if any other team hits it, their timer starts, and essentially the team that completes the timer first gets the souls. They changed that because they didn't like it. Bro, why am I keep thinking I'm playing Victor? Guys, it's 1 o'clock on a Saturday night. I apologize guys, I am half asleep right now. Well, this game is lost because of me. Anyway, right, anyway, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I am half asleep. Clearly, I shouldn't be making this video. I should be going to sleep right now. I'm probably gonna end up re-recording this video tomorrow. Anyway, the second version of Urn was a King of the Hill, just like in Call of Duty. King of the Hill, you hold the point, and whoever stays on it the longest wins, if that makes sense, in simple terms. And the problem with that was that certain characters were very strong in that scenario. A certain character called Braves, who is an area denier character, was very strong because she would put her abilities down in that area and you had no choice but to run. If you stood in that area, you would die because she did that much damage. So they very quickly checked. Why me and no Victor? Why me and no Victor? So they very quickly nerfed her again. Valve being amazing and listening to the feedback, they very quickly changed her, but that didn't solve the problem. The problem was that certain characters were just better, so they changed the objective again. They took Urn and separated it. They returned Urn to the old style of Urn where you pick it up, you drop it to a location and you collect the souls, very simple. But they took the King of the Hill aspect of it and turned it into a whole new objective called the Rift, which is the same thing. King of the Hill, whoever gets it, blah 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 blah, you get the soul. Anyway, you get the gist. The point is, what I'm trying to say is, they are not afraid to try new things to see what works, and that is why I think they are labeling this game as early access, because they know that once they commit to the idea that the game is in a complete state, they won't be able to make these drastic changes just like that. Like, they very quickly change the game. They won't be able to because they know that you will affect the image of the game and you will affect a lot of players, blah 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 blah. But as it is early access, they can get away with doing whatever they want pretty much until they figure out the magic recipe, which I think they will do because it's Valve. And once they figure out the magic recipe and they completely release the game, then of course they will be scared
they will be scared to make drastic changes because they don't wanna fix what's not broken. You know what I mean? So yeah. So yeah, the point I'm trying to make is Valve it feels like they are passionate about this game. Even though it may not have the most amount of players, it doesn't have the most amount of viewers on Twitch, it's still an active game. It has, let me check SteamDB. I'm pretty sure last time I checked SteamDB, it had 100k players. Deadlock. Let me check now. Right now it has 50k players. Okay, that's not a lot, but that's not little either. That's a decent amount of players considering that first of all it's in early access. Secondly, there's a pretty small but significant barrier to entry, which is you need to join a Discord server or know somebody to invite you to play the game, which most people don't want to do. So I genuinely think that the game only can only go up from here. I don't see it dying. Even though there are some people that you will hear on Reddit and on Discord, whatever, if you spend too much time online, you will hear people complain, because people love to complain that the game is dying, blah 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 blah. The game is not dying, the game is only getting better, and I genuinely think that this is a good time to play the game. The game feels polished, it feels good, it feels fun, there's content, there are 42 characters, each character has a different play style. They have covered every sort of playstyle in this game, even though it's a MOBA. In the way the game is designed, you can't really have melee characters like you have in Overwatch, but even with the game's design, they managed to have certain characters that promote using melees. There are tanks, there are carries, there are supports, there are healers, there is everything you'd expect in a hero shooter and a MOBA. And I generally think the game is having a lot of fun. It's very addicting, but it's addicting in the sense that you want to play. But if you have a couple bad games, in my opinion, it's very easy to put a game down. Like, you know what, I had a bad game, I'm just gonna play Street Brawl or go play some Street Fighter or some Red Dead Redemption, whatever you want to play. The point is, they know how to make a good game, but it feels like, but a game doesn't feel like a full-time job. Yes, you need to put time to learn it, but it doesn't feel like you're trying to learn Dota. It doesn't feel like you're trying to learn StarCraft. It feels like I think it sits at a happy medium, in my opinion. And even though when you're bad at this game, you still have fun. That's the most important thing about this game. Most MOBAs, if you're losing, you're not having fun. Okay, but you're not having fun when you're losing. But in this game, even when you lose, there is always something to do. So I think the game is good. You should try it. It's free. If you don't know how to join, go on my TikTok. I made a tutorial how to join. It's very simple. If you don't want to go on my TikTok because you don't want to see my ugly face, that's completely fine. There are a lot of tutorials on YouTube. If you don't want to see my ugly face, you can Google it. There are tutorials on how to find a Discord server. It's very simple to get access. It will take you 10 minutes. So you should try it, especially if you've played MOBAs or hero shooters. Anyways, goodbye guys.